Welcome friends to Physics in 20 minutes. In this video we are going to talk about addition or resultant of vectors, triangle law of vectors, subtraction of vectors, parallelogram law of vectors, and in order to understand some of the concepts you might need to see video number 7. How do we add vectors or how do we find the resultant of vectors? Adding scalars is very easy. If you have 5 kg of apple bought from one shop and 5 kg of apple bought from other shop, how much is the total amount of apple that you buy? Simple, it's 10 kg. But if your displacement towards east is 300 meter and then your displacement towards north is 400 meter, then what is your net displacement? You can see it is not so easy. But fortunately we have developed a technique in the exercise number 7.1. Please check that exercise in video number 7. There we drew a vector 300 meter pointing towards east, and then we drew another vector representing 400 meter towards north. Then we saw the resultant was drawn from the initial point to the final point. So you saw that if two sides of a triangle are represented by two vectors, then the third side of the triangle gives the resultant vector. But before we go ahead, we will have to understand translation of a vector. What is translation of a vector? If you have to move a vector from one point to other point in space, then it is called translation of a vector. In these translations, the magnitude and the directions of the original vectors are not changed. So, while translating a vector, move a vector parallel to itself without any change in its magnitude or direction. So, let's try to understand triangle law of vector addition. We have two vectors P and Q. We want to find out their resultant vector. Let the two vectors represent the two sides of a triangle. So we translate the two vectors in a way that they form two sides of the triangle. We have kept them in order such that the tail of Q touches the head of P. Now if you draw a third vector as the third side of the triangle, then it represents the resultant of the two vectors. So here is my resultant vector R, and it is given as vector R is equal to vector P plus vector Q. The triangle law is commutative. The order of addition of the two vectors does not matter. So in this drawing, P comes first, then comes Q. So vector R is written as vector R is equal to vector P plus vector Q. While if you revert the order, that is if you draw vector Q first, on the head of vector Q, if you draw the vector P, then the vector R can be written as vector R is equal to vector Q plus vector P. You can see that both the resultant vectors are parallel to each other and they have same magnitude. So they are identical vectors. So in general it does not matter the order in which you add the two vectors. This property is called commutative and vector addition is commutative. What will happen if there are more than two vectors? So in this drawing I have number of vectors. They are pointing in different directions. Vector A, vector B, vector C, vector D. So just like we did with triangle law, we can arrange these vectors in order in a way that B goes on the head of A, C goes on head of B, and D goes on head of D. Now if I draw a vector from the tail of A to the head of D, then this vector will be the resultant vector R, and it would be written as R is equal to A plus B plus C plus D. As usual, as in the triangle law, here also the order of addition will not matter. Final results remains the same and you can check that. Since the diagram resembles a polygon, this is sometimes referred as the polygon law of vector addition. How do we do vector subtraction? Suppose I have two vectors A and B, and I want to find a resultant vector in a way that it is vector A minus vector B. So how do we do that? Remember, subtraction is nothing but an addition of a negative number. So I can write it as vector R is equal to vector A plus minus vector B, where minus vector B is the opposite vector of vector B. So how do we get the opposite vector? You take the original vector and reverse its direction by 180 degree and you get the opposite vector. In order to understand more about opposite vector, please refer to video number 7. So I want opposite of B. So look at the direction in which B is pointing to. You draw a vector which is opposite to its direction. This vector will be minus B. So now what I am going to do is I am going to add minus B to vector A. So I will take a vector A. On the head of vector A, I will put the tail of vector minus B. If I draw a resultant vector, it will be from the tail of A to the head of minus B vector. So I draw this. Therefore, this is my vector R. Vector R will be given as vector A plus minus vector B. Therefore, vector R is equal to A minus B. Although triangle law and polygon law are a great way to add vectors graphically, they are not so great when it comes to finding out the magnitude and the direction of the resultant vectors in numbers. For that, we will learn the parallelogram law of vector addition. Let's have the two vectors P and Q. Put the tail of the two vectors at the same point. So you can see I have joined their tails. I have translated the vectors parallel to themselves so that they neither change in magnitude nor they change in direction. I complete the parallelogram by drawing the two other parallel sides. Now if I draw a vector which is along the diagonal passing through the common point of P and Q, then such a vector R will give you the resultant of the two vectors P and Q. The magnitude and direction of the resultant is given along the diagonal vector. So let us try to find out the magnitude of the diagonal vector first. Let's take the previous diagram once again. I extend the side OA further. I drop a perpendicular from C to this side at the point D. You can see that this diagram has two right angled triangles, one larger one OCD and one smaller triangle ACD. You can apply Pythagoras theorem to these triangles. In the larger triangle OCD, hypotenuse is OC. Therefore, OC square is equal to OD square plus CD square. But OD is the sum of two lengths OA and AD. So it will be OA plus AD the whole square plus CD square. We can expand this bracket. You get OA square plus 2OA AD plus AD square plus CD square. Now last two terms of this equation, AD square plus CD square, if you look at the diagram, they belong to the smaller triangle ACD. In the smaller triangle, hypotenuse is AC. Therefore, AD square plus CD square can be written as AC square. Therefore, we can write OA square plus 2OA AD plus AC square. Let the angle between the two vectors be theta. Therefore, angle CAD will also become theta. Therefore, in triangle ACD, AD is adjacent side, so it will become AC cos theta, but AC is opposite to Q, therefore it will be equal to Q cos theta, while OA is going to be P. If I take OC as R, then I can write the previous equation as R square is equal to P square plus 2PQ cos theta plus Q square. Therefore, the resultant R is root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Let's try to find the direction of the diagonal vector. Let the diagonal vector makes an angle alpha with the direction of P. In triangle ACD, AD is equal to AC cos theta, but AC is Q, so it will be Q cos theta. CD is equal to AC sin theta, which is equal to Q sin theta. Therefore, in triangle OCD, tan alpha is side opposite upon adjacent, which is CD upon OD. OD is OA plus AD. Therefore, I can substitute the values and it will become tan alpha is equal to Q sin theta upon P plus Q cos theta. Therefore, we get the two equations. The magnitude of the resultant vector is given by root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Alpha is given by tan inverse Q sin theta upon P plus Q cos theta. Let's take some special cases of parallelogram law. What will happen if two vectors P and Q are parallel to each other? So I have vector P and vector Q is parallel to each other. In this case, since both the vectors are pointing in the same direction, the angle between them theta is 0. Therefore cos 0 is 1. So the equation simplifies to r is equal to root of p square plus q square plus 2pq, which is root of p plus q the whole square, or simply p plus q. Here the magnitude of the resultant would be the sum of the magnitude of the two vectors. So it will be shown this way in the diagram. Another special case when p and q are anti-parallel to each other. So let's say p is pointing towards right while q is pointing towards left. Where will r be pointing to and how much would be the magnitude? Now since the two vectors are pointing in opposite direction, the angle between them is 180 degree and cos of 180 is minus 1. So the resultant equation reduces to r is equal to root of p square plus q square minus 2pq. Therefore r is equal to root of p minus q the whole square, and r can be written as mod of p minus q. Mod of p minus q means you have to subtract the smaller value from the larger value. Here the direction of r will be decided by the larger of the two vectors. So in this example p is larger than q, therefore r is pointing towards right, same as p. Let's take another example. If p is a smaller vector pointing to the right and q is a larger vector pointing to the left, then the resultant vector will be pointing to the left in the direction of q. Third special case, what will happen if p and q are perpendicular vectors? So if p is pointing to the right and q is pointing perpendicular to it, then the angle between them is 90 degree, cos 90 is 0. Therefore the equation reduces to r is equal to root of p square plus q square. As expected, the equation reduces to Pythagoras theorem. The angle between p and r is given by alpha is tan inverse q by p. Let's take an exercise to understand some of these concepts. Two bulls are tied to a pole with ropes. They apply a force of 10 Newton and 20 Newton respectively at an angle of 60 degrees to each other. Find the magnitude of the net force on the pole and its direction from 10 Newton force. At this point you may pause the video, try to solve the problem on your own, then come back and check the solution. Here goes the solution. We should always draw a diagram in such cases. Let's try drawing a rough sketch of the situation. Let this dot represent the pole to which the bulls are tied. This is the first bull. It's applying a force of 10 Newton. Let this be represented by vector P. This is another bull which is applying a force of 20 Newton. Let this be represented by a vector Q. The angle between them is 60 degree. So P is 10 Newton, Q is 20 Newton and theta is 60. We can use the R formula, root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Once you substitute the values, you will get your answer as 27 Newton. What about the angle between the resultant and P? So the angle between resultant and P will be given by the formula tan inverse q sin theta upon p plus q cos theta. If you put the values, it will become alpha is equal to tan inverse 20 sin 60 upon 10 plus 20 cos 60. Sin 60 is root 3 by 2, cos 60 is 1 by 2. You substitute the values and solve it, you get your answer as 41 degree. So resultant vector or the resultant force acting on the pole will make an angle 41 degree to the vector P. So you can see vector Q is larger than vector P, therefore the angle between R and Q is smaller than angle between R and P. Here are some review questions. Please go through them and try to find their answers. They will help to strengthen your understanding in the concepts. Here are some activity problems. Please try to solve them. Here are the answers to the activity problems. Thank you.